Okay guys, if you don't know about being a secure creditor, probably one of the most important things that needs to be done right now, one of the most important, definitely. Now, why do you think that the powers that be can, at any given time, if they don't like the way you're bringing up your children, or if they need you to get out of your house, you're out of there, or all these rules and regulations to do with where you live and, how you build your houses and what you can and cannot do with your own children, such as vaccinate them. The truth is that if you're not a secure creditor, you own nothing. Now, even people like, I would say the high up people like, Bill Gates and them know this, but a bit further down on the rung, like, so-called influencers like Gary Vee and Tai Lopez, I would say they definitely don't know about this, and they should, because at any given moment, all what they think they own can be taken away from them, including their children. People like Gary Vee make one wrong move, and don't vaccinate their kids, or don't give them a blood transfusion, or don't want them to be schooled or do homeschooling. Then the powers that be might not like that, and they can actually come and take your children, and there's nothing you can do about it. However, if you are a secure creditor, you are basically protected. You will actually own your property, and the powers that be class even your children as property. Now, everybody thinks they own their houses and they own their cars. You own nothing. If you're not a secure creditor, you own nothing. You do not hold the title. And that's why, when these so-called boy races whiz around, and the cops can just come along and take the cars, and the boy racers can do no thing about it. No thing. Why? It's a long story, and it's all to do with the birth certificate, and even way back before that. But basically, you were turned at your birth, you were turned into a corporation, and you are a fiction. You are as a corporation, you have to deal with corporations, governments, etc. can only deal with corporations. They can't deal with a flesh and blood living man or woman. Now look, what I suggest you guys do, now I've looked far and wide for people that know what they're going on about, getting results, excuse me guys, I'm just more or less just got up, and I'm just going to have a quick drink of coffee to keep me going. Okay, so now this is very important. Now, Joanna, actually, this is Joanna Wales, W-A-I-L-S, formerly Joanna Johnston, without an E on the end. Her and her husband, Darren, awesome people. They're doing their best to help people, enlighten people on all levels. So definitely, if you can, now when I say I've looked far and wide, I've looked far and wide at people that are getting results, that know about what's really happening. A lot of people, they say they're, I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but there's, sovereignty movement. People say they're sovereign. People say, they talk about their straw man, because that's what's created. You actually have a couple of birth certificates. One birth certificate is the creditor. Birth certificate is actually a bond, a security bond. And you died without a will when you were born. I won't go into that here and now, but you have to do some research, as all these people have done years and years and years of research. But if you want to truly be free, own everything you have, including your kids, truly own. If you want to travel, you know, with diplomatic immunity, if you want to be free from all debts forever, and what I'm saying is, now people will say, well, you loaned some money, you have to pay it off. No, banks, credit card people, they loan you nothing. Okay, they own you nothing. What happens is, when you signed the particular documents for your mortgage, for your credit cards, you have created the money. You've created a promissory note, and then they give you back your own money, and you have to pay them interest. As ludicrous as it sounds, that is what's happening. Okay, and then you might say, well, the lawyers, the judges would all stop this. No, the lawyers, the judges are all in on it. They are bonded, and they actually get paid for a guilty charge. So they get paid. The more they get paid. Like I say, there's a lot to it, guys. There's a lot to it. Don't shoot me, the messenger. You can't just come and listen to me for 5 minutes and think, this guy's nuts. This has been going on for years. You want to look up something that was created in 1933, about the same time as the birth certificates were created, HJR 192, which meant that everybody, in exchange for handing in all their gold to the government, and from then on the government would forevermore pay all debts. Now, it didn't happen, obviously. They just took all the gold and didn't pay anybody's debts. Many things happening in the background, but now why Juliana is so successful, whereas others have failed, you know, claiming they're sovereign beings and da-da-da. She does the correct process. The process is already being there, but people do not do the correct process. Okay, so when the Illuminati or whoever created the system whereby, you know, the fiction was created with the birth certificate, etc., the remedy was always there, but a person had to dig deep and do the research to find the remedy and the process to truly free themselves. Now, you might agree or not agree with this, but those are the facts, and we're living in this third-dimensional reality at the moment, and we need money, and you know, people can go to jail, people are in debt, people are suffering right now. So if you want to do something about it on the highest levels, this is one of the highest levels you can do. Now, Trump and QAnon, etc., looks like they're helping to get rid of the Illuminati, and who knows, this whole system may change when all the cabal and Illuminati are gone. But you really, to have a plan B in place, because who knows what they're going to do, you need to be a secure creditor. And then if someone says you have to vaccinate your kids, you say, no, sorry, here's my UCC1, because what happens, you put a lien on your birth certificate, you put in your particular country, like in Australia, New Zealand here, you put you put your birth certificate on the personal property security register, and that says that you know what's going on, you own your birth certificate, you're a live being, you claim, you say, you're basically saying you send your birth certificate with a note, you know, telling everybody that you're still alive, you're not a corporate fiction. You claim back, and you tell the commercial world, send these documents to the commercial world, telling them that you're a live human being, you're not a fictional corporation anymore. Okay, now, to understand what I've been talking about, I suggest, if I can find it here, go and do, if it comes up quickly here, hopefully, go and do Joanna's introductory course. The reason why I didn't quite say why, Joanna's courses, why she's so successful, and she does a whole bunch of stuff. Firstly, she entry level. Now this is 47 bucks. What's that? You know, a couple of hamburgers and a coffee. Okay, and that'll tell you the whole truth of what's been going on, the history, how we got into the situation we are, and how to get out of it, and how to be truly debt-free. Because people at the highest levels, you know, people like Gary Vee and that, they think they own things, they think they're wealthy, when in fact it can be taken away from them at any time. You know, if they put foot wrong, it'll all come down on him like a ton of bricks. Now, I'm not don't think that I'm anti Gary Vee. I think he's doing a good job. I'm subscribed to him, and he does good work. But what I'm saying is, even people at that level, that high level, where they think that they know what's going on, and that if they do not know about the birth certificate and HJR 192, they don't know what's going on, and they don't know what's coming up in the future. To explain all this, what I've got over, which, you know, it's hard to do in a 15-minute video. This course here, entry level, that'll give you the understanding what's going on, why you need to free yourself from basically the matrix, and then this is how you get out of the matrix, how you free yourself, how you can travel without passports, how you get diplomatic immunity, etc. But I would start with that one. I'll leave links below to this. Now on a spiritual level, and I think Joanna's right, Joanna says that learning this information is a form of ascension. Okay? Because you're rising above the swamp, if you want to call it that, the matrix. So instead of having, you know, a couple of cups of coffee and a couple of hamburgers, get that course. Very interesting, and you'll be amazed by what's going on and what has been happening, how we got into the situation where everybody's pretty much in debt, except for a few people. And even on the news here in New Zealand last night, I heard that, you know, people here are, you know, living in cars, and you know, everybody's in debt, and, you know, people have got 5 kids and they're all in debt. It's worldwide. Okay, so how to get out of it? This is how to get out of it. Yeah. Now here's another one. Proof that it works. Why does Joanna's system work compared to anybody else's system? It's one big reason is, well, there's a couple of reasons. Firstly, she tells you how to get a offshore personal business account, right? And then you're not classed as you know, you're out of that particular country. It's only because you're in the country and you've signed up to everything in that particular country, and you've got accounts in that country, that you're sort of attached to this. You know, that one thing that attaches you to this whole your basically your fictional corporation. Okay, so she sets you up with a you know, overseas offshore corp business account. That's one reason why she's successful when any of her students and clients go through this process. Another big reason is she's non-belligerent, non-combative. Okay, she doesn't come at it at a big defensive, you know, sort of, you bastard, you've been ripping us off all these years and look what you've done to us. No, she says, okay, I know, and she comes up from the point of view, okay, I understand what's going on. I'm using the proper process now. So I found out what's going on, and here's what I'm doing about it. And that's why she's so successful. So you can see there, testimonials, debts paid off. This one here, 240,000 student loan paid off. And as I say, people say, well, you got to, loan money. We don't loan money at all. They never give us anything as far as loans are concerned, because you create the money in the first place with a promissory note, which is created by your signature. There you go, guys. I'll leave a link below to this, and if nothing else, guys, that course I pointed you for $47 is, if nothing else, it's extremely interesting. It'll bring you up to date with what's going on. You will have to do some work, as with anything else, some research, etc. But that one course will bring you up to date with what's, bring you up to par with what has been happening, how we got into the situation, how to get out of it. Now, guys, I also do videos on protecting what you've got, because now on another level you can be a secure creditor, but then someone could come and sort of end all that by busting into your house or whatever. So I do videos on self-defense, and I'm linked to one of the best, if not the best, self-defense companies in the world, so I'll leave links below to that. And health, so those are my sort of 3 or 4 things: secure creditor, self-defense. Another thing is health. If you want to be healthy, pain free, I suggest you look into a thing called earthing. I'll leave links below to that. You can earthing gets rid of all inflammation and balances out your stress hormone called cortisol, but it does many other things. Okay, I'm going on for coming up, couple of years. For 60 years old, I have no pain whatsoever. I was a postal worker out in the rain for 18 years, and I have no arthritis or anything. And I put that down mainly to, among other things, mainly to earthing. Okay, guys, so I'll leave links to earthing below there too. So self-defense, because you can be a secure creditor, but you're secure financially, but you also want to be secure physically. And I would say that once you get into the stuff, you're sort of on another level. You move up another level spiritually, so you probably will be protected anyway. But just to make sure, I would help protect your loved ones, and your house, your property, things you've worked hard for. I would learn self-defense as well, and I'll leave links below for that.